Hey guys, welcome back to Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Today we're taking a look at the latest stream by the Visionary Realms team, hosted by Twitch streamer Cohhcarnage. We'll be taking our first look at the Dire Lord. If you're new to Pantheon, it is an MMORPG being developed by Visionary Realms. The game will have a very traditional playstyle, reminiscent of EverQuest. I'll leave information linking to the official website down in the published section, where you can familiarize yourself with all the information pertaining to the game. In this particular stream, the team is showing off the Dire Lord, which is a similar character to the Shadow Knight in EverQuest. I also wanted to mention that each time we get these opportunities to see the game, we're able to appreciate just how much more the team has come along in the development of the game across the board. The Dire Lord is described as a stealth healing tank, with attacks that provide additional healing to the class, as well as providing a host of useful abilities that will complement your group. Co was given a brief overview of the action bar, where we could see some of the various spells and abilities the Dire Lord has. Let's take a listen.
And want to go over the abilities a little bit with you and just give you a quick rundown, and then kind of let you cut your teeth on just diving in and seeing how it goes. So does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Perfect. Okay, so you'll notice on your bar, I'll go through, I've tried by memory here to go through what you've got, but the Dire Lord is a little bit of an unconventional take on the tank, because you are very much a self-healing tank, using heavy mail instead of plate mail, and so you're relying on the DPS that you're dealing and the healing that you're doing to yourself, that self-healing to stay up. So it's the testing we've had done that we've been in so far in pre-alpha 3, the feedback has been really positive on the Dire Lord. It's just a really fun, enjoyable take on the tank class, so I hope you enjoy it. Your first ability is called Provoking Phantoms, and this is a what I call a deepening taunt, meaning you only need to apply it once per target, and then it gradually builds hate exponentially the longer it stays on the target. Your next ability is called Thresh, and it is a melee attack that heals you for a short amount of time, and about 3 ticks, I think, of healing, and then it also applies a bleed to the enemy. Then you've got Abyssal Strike, which is your bread and butter self-healing, really high damage attack, and so you're going to be wanting to use that somewhat strategically at times when you know that you're going to need a heal, and then other times you can use it as just a further DPS and hate generation. I believe next you have, is it Sanguine Blade? Is that what it's called?
You got it. Yep.
Okay, so Sanguine Blade is a great ability for doing some damage based on the mob's mana. So you're going to want to use Sanguine Blade when you are fighting casters. Then you've got Essence Thief, which is an awesome essence generator. Essence is your resource, by the way, that you're going to be using to do all these cool abilities. And that's going to actually teleport you to your target and then refill your essence by 50%. So that's a great opener when you've got it ready. From there, you've got Splatter, which is an AE damage. It also distributes the detrimental effects on your target to other targets in range. That aspect of the ability is not working right now, but the AE damage is.
So that's pretty cool. So I could load up an enemy with debuffs and then kind of just blast those debuffs around it?
Exactly.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And what's your next ability there?
Edge of Midnight.
Edge of Midnight. Great. That's a... Okay, so actually, Sanguine Blade, I need to make a correction here. Sanguine Blade is going to drain mana from your target. Edge of Midnight is the one that's going to do damage based on their mana pool. So both of those abilities are going to be really effective against your caster types.
Great.
What's the next one?
Dampen Harm.
Okay, this is your
It's
oh
an
crap
oh my button.
cooldown.
Yeah.
So this is going to reduce damage by around 50% for a short amount of time, and that's just a great oh crap button that you need when you need that extra mitigation. What's next after that?
Harm Shield.
Harm Shield is a damage
That's a name
shield.
I recognize.
Yeah. You got Dampen Harm and then Harm Shield, and Harm Shield is going to drain a small amount of your essence over time while it's active. But it's a damage shield.
Great.
Anything else?
Leaden Blood.
Lead and blood. So that makes the essence of your enemy really heavy, which slows them for the first few seconds, and then it actually roots them for
cool.
the last bit. So you have to play with that one and get a feel for it.
Oh, and then the next ability is probably the most important one I've seen so far for the class. It's fishing.
Fishing, yeah. So you're right. Really, the whole Dire Lord premise revolves around the fishing ability.
The team also briefly covered some of the characters' gear, which drops in Black Rose Keep, a dungeon that is featured in this stream. Black Rose Keep is a teen to early 30s level dungeon with what the team described as pretty desirable gear that many of the alpha testers have been getting as drops. Also worth mentioning in this stream, we're seeing some of the alpha players for the first time. But what's even more notable is just how much progress the team seems to make each time we get a chance to see the game. We're seeing more particle effects, UI features, combat features, and a host of graphic improvements. Co did touch on something that was equally as notable, and that was the behavior of the mobs in relationship to vectors, tethering, and pathing. The development team outlined that getting the programming down and making constant tweaks is important for providing the players with an immersive experience in the game world. They did mention some of the ragdoll effects, which are also still being tweaked. And it's important to remember that this is just stage 3 of the early alpha, so there's a lot more to be done. But what we were able to see in this stream is incredibly impressive and a testament to the attention to detail the team is striving for. While the combat was waging, Co asked the team about his character's taunt, and as you heard in the spell outline, it does continue to provide focus hate on the Dire Lord, even if you change targets to recast on another mob. So you can cast on one mob, allow that hate to build so it's stronger on the Dire Lord, but you can then retarget another mob and cast on it. I don't recall if the Dire Lord's taunt breaks Mez, but since it's early in the development, there are any number of possible effects the taunt could have. Overall, Black Rose Keep looks like a great way for teen level players to hone their skills while also getting some awesome gear. There was, of course, a lot of talk about how Pantheon brings back that community feel like we had in EQ. An example of how we'd be in Oasis of Mar, and there would be various groups of various levels, all fighting within a certain distance of one another. I'm very curious how this traditional style play will be received by newer players and what the reactions will be as they discover that Pantheon does focus on group cooperative play than providing open paths for solo play. I'm also fairly certain that players will, of course, find ways to solo play. They always have, even in EverQuest, which was very group focused. I don't think the team is discouraging solo play or suggesting that solo play isn't going to be possible or productive, but they do emphasize that your success overall will be better served in group play. Midway through the stream, the team left Black Rose Keep and dev ported to Avendir's Pass. It's an area in the game we've seen in previous streams. However, the team mentioned that it has had a lot of additions and changes made to it since we've last seen it. Along with the changes, the team mentioned that they've added 25 additional perception triggers. Perception triggers, if you're not familiar with them, are little premonitions or serendipitous types of information your character gathers from the environment. It's a questline adaptation Visionary Realms has added as part of the quest system. This mechanic is known to your character as becoming a keeper. I believe it's a scaling skill your character learns as you play. However, the perception system does seem to be an interesting way to refresh the questing system in an MMO, and it does provide clues for a quest you're on or a quest that is in that area. The area in general is quite impressive from what we could see in the stream. It has some amazing vistas and chock full of points of interest. I'm incredibly impressed with the field of view and the range of view the game has. The team took a moment to look around the area that still has a few gray box mesh assets they're working on, but nonetheless, it's pretty amazing, and without a doubt continues to encourage me, as an old school MMOer, that Pantheon will provide us with a very rewarding and immersive environment. The team was headed to Hangor, where the North Tusk Orcs live. Quite a few people in chat were reminiscing about Crushbone, a very iconic zone in EverQuest, where many of the players in the greater Fadark area hunted. Nearly all my Wood Elves, Dwarves, and High Elf characters spent their fair share in the Fadark area, and of course Crushbone was the main attraction and zone that people fought in. As the team was playing in Hangor, they were fielding some questions people had about time to kill, and that it appeared that it was a lot slower than what most would anticipate in a modern MMO. But that goes back to the fact that Pantheon is a more traditional MMO-centric game, and so the playstyle is going to be a little more geared around that traditional play. Another area that was discussed was downtime. The team mentioned that they are balancing the time it takes for characters or groups to recover mana or regenerate, but it was still emphasized that they didn't want groups to simply plow through mobs or plow through a particular area. With live players participating in the alpha, I'm sure the team is collecting a lot of very useful data as it pertains to time to kill and general downtime. But it's important to remember that this downtime, these are the moments where players can socially interact or even take AFK breaks, much like we experienced in EverQuest. And that's going to wrap up this look at the continuing development of Pantheon, along with the first look at the Dire Lord. I'm very impressed with the progress the team is making, and I'm very enthusiastic about the game, as I hope you guys are too. I'll leave links for you in the published section below so you guys can learn more about Pantheon. And to ensure you're getting all the latest out of Pantheon, be sure you guys click on that channel icon appearing on the screen to subscribe. Then click on the bell to set up your notifications. This way, you'll get all the latest news and information from Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen.